fortunately, it is about staying busy, and that's sort of your first priority. But it also is about finding quality projects that you enjoy doing and enjoying the business. Most landmen that they're out there, they're in it because they have fun, they like the versatility of the projects, and trying to keep that in mind while you're working or looking for something else. And I've been fortunate, even between permanent jobs, to have stayed employed or found other work to fill those gaps when the time needed, which is an industry that is unique in that, and that we do have that opportunity when things get slow down. One of the things, though, to think about that in this is, as you're looking for more work, you you really need to know what you're good at. And field guys, they're good at running title. They're good at usually talking to people and conversationalists. But you do need to know the skill sets that you're good at, because that is part of your second nature of what you do every day. And so when you're doing projects, those are the things that should come naturally to you. And when you bring those things in house, um, you want to bring the things that are second nature to you in house, because that's what they're looking for. And then you build on that to learn new things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's knowing oftentimes what people take for granted is when when they are in these types of roles, they're being brought in because of a skill set or because of something that, internally, the land staff just doesn't have the bandwidth for, or, they've got a hiring freeze or whatever it may be. So, knowing your skill, knowing what you're confident with, that, you know, you can convey that, and it's okay to convey that and understand, hey, this is where I fit in. This is how I can contribute. And, maybe if you're a part of a team, understanding the strengths of everyone else, right? And it's okay to say you don't know something, you know, because then the rest of your team, the people that you're working with can, y'all can figure out how to accomplish what you're trying to get done. So, I mean, I think first and foremost going into it, whether you're have an in-house background or, a field background or somewhere in between, knowing what you're starting with and understanding where everyone else on the team, what they can contribute is a big deal. It's kind of the first step.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And be confident in the things know your skills, like I said, but be confident in the things that you're good at, and know your limitations. Be honest about your limitations. We don't all know it all. We learn something new every day. I learn stuff all the time after 30 years, and I've taught guys that have 20 years more experience than me things that they hadn't done before. And so you're constantly learning, and that's what's enjoyable about the industry is that there is always something new around the corner that you haven't done before, and be it working in one state and moving to another state, or
Everything's different.
Everything's different, or just a trade that is that's unique and different than any other deal you've done. And from a field perspective, it could be a new oil and gas lease that you hadn't run across, or new provisions you hadn't run across. As simple as that. But you're always bringing those skills that you've learned, be it from the field. You need those same skills in house. You just because as you're a project manager, especially, this, Brent, as you're managing people in the field, what you expect to be delivered, and your in-house guys are managing, your teams or teams like yours, and they're expecting that information coming in to be accurate and concise and easy to read and easy to pick up, so that it can just move through the food chain, through the progress of getting ready to drill a well.
Yeah. Barclay, do you have an example of something that, you're really good at and you've brought in house, but then also an example of maybe a limitation that you have and how you backfill that with a professional that complements the skills that you're good at?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I've gotten good at over the years, and it's taken time, is really sort of scheduling and planning, and, forecasting. Hey, we want to do this. We want to accomplish by this many weeks or months or whatever the time period is. And then building back the resources that you need in man hours, man time, to do that. If you've got, if you're doing a leasing program and you need to lease, 10,000 acres somewhere, and, you can kind of gauge how many tracks you have, versus if you're doing a due diligence project and, you've got, um,
1,000
100
wells.
units to review, 1,000 wells, 100 units, whatever the case may be, and then putting that down into a schedule of man hours, how long it's going to take each person to do it, and then just sort of breaking that out. And I do that. I've gotten really good with spreadsheet work, and which is what most laymen should do, and just putting that down to a denominator and saying what that needs to look like, and then you can give that to um, a client or your project manager or your boss and say, hey, here's what I think we're going to need. We're going to need X number of laymen to accomplish this. It's going to take them all this amount of time. And you gauge that by, you use your own experience by saying, hey, I think it would take me X number of hours or X number of days to review one of these. And, okay, if I'm a B plus person and my average players are B minus people, then I may add in a little bit extra time. Or you're going to run into some more complex reviews of units, or, even buying leases. You may find a hard lessor that isn't easy to negotiate with. Take a few weeks or a month to negotiate a lease with them. And so as you're running through those things, you're using your experience and the things you've done, and extrapolating that to a team of people to come up with an answer in your planning process. And, once you put your plan together and you line all that out, it's then about execution, and then monitoring that execution over the life of the project within, week 2, week 3, week 4, as things get kicked off. Are you on schedule? Are things going as you planned, or are you ahead of schedule, or, what's the case? And so constantly monitoring those things and keeping up with those things, I have found I've gotten pretty good at engaging the time of those things.